Alright, so we're on the first episode of the Second Win podcast. You have your host, David, and
Jess.
And we also have our third host.
What's up? What's up?
So we got Ricky V. Without further ado, please kick it off.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Ricky V. Just an average dude. Like, I worked 12-hour type of shift, full-time shifts, and, I managed to still maintain myself and still manage to make time to go try to achieve my goals and keep it pushing forward.
Too, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Alright, so let's talk more about this, your job. Because it's not a typical 9 to 5, right? You work some crazy hours, as you mentioned before, 12-hour shifts. So can you please talk more about how do you manage to find time to work these long shifts and still stay in shape?
Yeah, so sometimes those shifts vary between, it'll be like a 12-hour shift. Sometimes, depending on the days, it's like a 15 or maybe 18-hour day where I run security and transport for a third-party company where we have to protect their assets and protect their clientele as well, depending on the circumstances. So a lot of the times it could be a rough day, but still manage to try to get at least a couple hours in of working out to self-invest in myself.
At what time do you usually wake up in the morning?
For example, usually it's like at 5 a.m. to get ready for work, but like even for going back to like those 15-hour shifts, like later tonight, I gotta get up for like 3 a.m. to be at work for 4, and then I get done when I get done. So like various shifts like that. So sometimes it can be challenging making sure that you get the right amount of rest and recovery time in order to continue on for the next day.
How many days a week do you actually get to work out?
So
on average?
On average, probably like 4 days out of 7, and they're usually like an hour and a half to 2 hours, every workout. Sometimes I try my best to get 2 days in, 2 workouts in a day. But sometimes for my body, it be a little too much, but still slowly working on it to try to get like 2 days in there when I can. And
part of your workout is, as Jess mentioned, is MMA. So how does that work within everything else?
Yeah, so like usually in the mornings I go and I train at my gym. I've been a active martial artist for like pushing like 10 to 11 years now. Good part of that span was doing like MMA and competing. For a while I stopped because life got ahead of me and I started working this one job where I was racking in like 100 to 140 hours bi-weekly. So like naturally the fitness got away from me, but now I'm back and those days where I'm training at the gym, it's probably like 2 or 3 days at that gym, doing whether it's jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, or some wrestling, and days like today I had sparring days where a whole bunch of us came in and, just started training and started performing rock and sock'ems on each other. It gets very taxing. It definitely does, like, especially to the body when the body's not used to moving like that. And, I'm older now. I'm about to be pushing my 30s, so I don't have that much pep in my step like I used to when I was in my 20s doing it. It catches up. I'm pushing like 2 hours a day with those gym moving around with other guys, so there's a lot of resistance and moving around and stuff. So it becomes very taxing on the body. So
then how do you, obviously that's a physical obstacle that you're facing now, the recovery time. So what do you do to recover? Because, you work at 18 hours, you're putting that pressure on your body from working out. So what do you do to recover?
I'm still trying to figure that out. And like everything I noticed when it comes to like fitness and trying to get to your own body, get to know your own body, it's still a process. Like you got to basically experiment with yourself and figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. A lot of resting for me would be taking a couple hours, like resting between workouts and, make sure I'm getting my BCAA, make sure I'm getting the right nutrition in me, right amount of rest. Sometimes it's definitely hard with the full-time job I got. Most of the times I get like 5 hours of sleep and then try to get up and start moving. The problem is that I don't want to take too much of a rest time because then when I come back to the gym, it's like I feel like I'm starting all over. So I have to keep that momentum going and keep that fitness still going while still try to juggle everything as well, along with my personal life.
Do you maintain and watch what you eat? Do you have a certain diet?
Yeah, I try. Yeah, I try to make sure that what my nutrition consists of is like more natural based and like less chemical stuff. Like I try to stay away from the junk food. Like I was taught when back in the day when I was competing, I was taught early that, what you eat is, like, you gotta treat your body like a car, and you're not gonna put, shit in your car and expect it to perform like Formula One. I've done it before as well, where, I'll eat like shit and then go work out and I perform like shit as well. So I always try my best to make sure I'm eating clean and drinking lots of water. That's basically all I drink, a lot of water. I barely drink any soda or stuff like that. So basically, yeah, just trying to make conscious decisions about what I'm putting in my body.
So what are some of the hardships talking about food? Because I feel like that's always like a hard one for me personally. Like just trying to find the right food to put in my body. So like what advice do you give to someone who like, hey, like, I'd say I drink a 2-liter soda a day. Like, how do I cut back to drink more water?
Yeah, I think we got a lot in common with that. Like, especially, like, we're both Spanish, and, like, I come from, a family that's, like, straight carbs, like chicken and rice. Like, everything came with rice. Yeah, rice and beef, a whole bunch of carb stuff. It's hard, like, separating yourself from that, because as much as it tastes good, like, eating so much of that, everything is good, but in moderation. But eating so much of that, after a while, it adds up to where it starts, affecting your body in a negative way. Especially if you're not working out. There could be plenty of times where people will sit there and all they do is drink soda all day. All they do is and they'll tell you like they feel like shit. Well, it's because of that stuff that you're putting in your body. So like for the person that all they do is drink 2 liters a day, or you gotta try to like wean yourself out. Try to start drinking water, because water is more natural for the body, and your body's I think it's like 80% or 85%.
We'll fact check that.
We'll fact check that. We're gonna fact check that. That's what I said. So what I think, but your body runs on water, and most of your organs run on that water. So it's more natural for your body to overdrink water than to overdrink a whole bunch of soda. So little by little, you gotta wean yourself off of that.
So what did you do personally to do that? All right. So when you're also like when you were in competition mode, what were some things, some tricks, some tips that you learned? Like
constantly keep moving. I had to maintain a certain schedule where I would go train in the morning. Especially if I was in fight camp mode, I had to go train in the morning and rest for a few hours. Make sure like okay, like I'm not gonna eat fucking donuts or whatever after I finish working out for like 2 hours, going with people and rolling around, getting all sweaty, all that jazz. So I got to make sure I'm getting my protein in, I'm getting my, the right amount of carbs in, and healthy fats, all that jazz. And I will just relax for a little bit, and try to go for like afterwards for my second workout, I will try to go for a run. But not a long run where I felt like I was dying after I just did all that stuff. I try to maintain it into like a 10 to 15 minute run and just build off of that. Because a lot of times what I've learned and what, coaches tell me and throughout the years is like, if you just jump in it and you're exceeding higher expectations than what you want to do or that completely botched that, what I meant to say was like when you're set a goal that's bigger than what you can perform right now. Like you want to go run like 15 minutes, but you can't even walk out the door like for like 5 while huffing and puffing. So you work off of that 5, like day by day, and you slowly progress and keep adding more time. And eventually you'll build that 15-minute, exercise or 15-minute run and then build off of that. So a lot of the times I would just run, especially when I had to cut weight, run like a few minutes like here and there. And then once I started getting really comfortable with that, I start building off of that and start running for a longer period of time or working out and stuff like that. And just rest as well, like maintaining the rest and making sure that I'm getting the right type of rest to keep being able to perform in that level.
It reminds me of like this quote that I heard. It was something like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm nowhere where I used to be. Mm-hmm. So like what you're saying, build off of those 5 minutes and then just keep progressing.
Yeah, and a lot of times people think that, like I can barely walk in the first place, so I'm not even going to try. Well, then you're going to sit there where you were. Like, in order to change something, if you want to really change something, what you're doing is not currently working. So, like, what's not working, if it's not working for you, you're going to have to, you can't make a change while still maintaining the same patterns that were keeping you from not changing in the first place. So you have to switch something up. Just taking that step, they used to tell me a lot of times, like half, especially with the gyms, like there's been times I didn't want to show up to the gym because it was sparring day and I knew I was going to get my ass kicked. I knew it was going to be a tough time and all that jazz. But I used to always get told one of the hardest things that you have to do is just show up. Once you show up, that's like 80% of the battle right there. Just showing up and then just going in the motions, and then next thing you know, the workout session's done and you did it. But if I would have sat on the couch and been lazy, then I would have not progressed in anything. So you just gotta take that first step. Even though you know it's gonna suck, but you take that first step, you get that momentum going, and you just keep it pushing.
So, like, what were some of the meals that you ate when you were cutting weight?
A lot of spinach. I was eating a lot of. The funny thing was, I hated spinach so much. Like, my coaches used to try to make me eat like spinach chips or anything to get like some healthy stuff in me, and I couldn't stand it. But what I did was, which not that many people was gonna like it, was I just kept it very simple, and I kept it, broccoli and like broccoli and chicken, like a lot of chicken and broccoli stuff, eggs, egg whites, steak, chicken, brown turkey was my best friend, and I used to mix them all together, and like it would be bland after a while, but that's what we got sauces for, throw a little sauce on there and just keep it moving. Like sometimes people need to stop looking at food as a way of like, oh, it doesn't taste good. Well, you gotta start shifting your perception on what you should look at food as, because food is fuel for the body, so if you look at it that way, you're like, all right, I know it's gonna taste like shit, but I know it's good for my body, and it's gonna help me perform this workout later today. So sometimes you just gotta suck it up and just scarf it down until you get used to like doing it. I used to hate spinach, and then like after a few fight camps, it was nothing for me to eat it, So like little stuff like that, you just gotta get used to like, trying. Sometimes bland food sucks, but you're not eating it for the taste, you're eating it for the fuel.
Way to go.
It sucks.
I like spinach dip, that's it.
No spinach.
It counts. It's spinach.
It's vegetables.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have to someone who says, hey, I want to be an MMA fighter? Where can I go? What do I do?
Well, first thing, if they're fresh off the boat, like, they're just looking into it, like, they have to understand that we get a lot of people where they think it's a 1, 2, 3 type process. Like, it's just, like, I'm going to go train a few times and I'm going to go take a fight. No. So, it's more of a marathon than a sprint when it comes to this stuff. I've been doing, like, MMA. I started Shokan for 4 years. And then from that, I started switching to, like, MMA type training where it was, like, judo, some jiu-jitsu, and like some boxing, Muay Thai, along with the karate that I already had prior. And so far, like I'm going on like 11 years right now of just training. Few fights here and there when I was younger, but now I just train and maintain. So one thing that I can tell them that is going to be a process, and sometimes you can't go to one gym that has everything you need. That's unrealistic. You have to like find a reputable gym where they're going to, they're legit, whether they're teaching you, like, ground stuff like jiu-jitsu or, and judo stuff or wrestling. Like, usually it's just one gym just for that. And then if you want to get some striking in, like boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai type stuff, then you have to go and find a different gym. It's very rare to find one gym that does all of it and then does it all completely while completely bullshitting you on what they know. So the first step, do your research, find some reputable gyms, not just one, and just come out, take a trial class or two, see how the dynamic is. Don't just submit yourself to training there because like you hear it's good, but you're fucking miserable every time that you go there. There has to be a nice team dynamic family thing. Like I go down to my gym and I've been going with those guys for a couple of years, and we wrestle, we joke around, we're in each other's personal lives. We're almost like a family related thing. And that's the type of relationship you want to have with that gym where, you guys are like brothers or sisters, what have you, and everybody gets along. That's very more important because the more you have fun at that gym while still learning, the longer you'll be in the sport. If you just constantly feel like you got to go, and everything's just like a fucking headache, you're not going to want to keep going. You're not going to want to keep pursuing this. You need to you just got to have fun with it. You can't treat it like it's a mission that, I'm Ivan Drago and I'm going to just smash everybody. You got to have fun with it and you got to have a good time. Otherwise, you're not going to last as long in the sport,
I think it's a very good point. You need to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have fun. There's been times where I focused too much on like this one thing, and I was so serious that I had my training partners and my coaches tell me, "Hey, dude, just have fun with it. Relax. You know, and that it helped me get more comfortable with the situation and helped me get more relaxed, and then I was able to focus on that technique more, or focus on like, you know, what I was doing wrong, and just maybe enjoy myself more, which also made me want to come back in the first place. Because if you're having a shitty time, the chances of you coming back as a newcomer is like pretty slim. Like, you know, if you're getting thrashed around, that's another thing too. Like, you leave your ego at the door, because a lot of times, like, it's a big ego thing when it comes to these type of sports, like, you know, where, you know, you want to beat the toughest man in the room. You got to find out real quick that you're not. They got to let you know real fast, you know. So just go there with an open mind, you know, do your research. Just take like a trial class here and there, you know, see if that's the best place for you. And if, you know, if you end up welcome with open arms, then that's great, you know. And just, I hope, you know, peace be the journey when it comes to your MMA journey, you know.
Any closing remarks?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we definitely did.
So I got some closing remarks. They're like, when I think of second win, I think of, you know, not just, you know, second chances, but also, like I said, like, in my personal life, for my special circumstances, work got ahead of me, you know, being a dad and being a brother, all that stuff, like, all the personal life gets ahead of you, and I let it slip where I just stopped working out altogether, gaining a lot of weight, didn't want to do the shit no more. But after a while, I started realizing, like, especially for this type of sport that I'm in, the type of person I am, I started getting, like, the itch again. Like, I was like, man, I started getting, like, I'm an aggressive person. When this sport was very good to me as far as, like, calming me down and very therapeutic. So when I got back into it, like, it was such a struggle to get back into it. That's why a lot of athletes and a lot of fighters and what have you, they always say, like, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's a real thing, because it's so much easier to just stay ready all the time than to let yourself go and then build back up to where you are. And I'm still having problems with building myself back up to where I was years ago. You know, my metabolism's moving slowly. I got, you know, a little bit more weight to carry, and I still got to work on that. You know, my body doesn't move every aches and pains and all that jazz. I'm tight like a tiger in like certain spots. So when I hear second win, it lets me know, like, I know I'm an average dude, but I can do this. I get, you know, uno más. I can sit there and like get back up and get back on the ball as long as you want it, you know. And I think it's more of a, you get knocked down 8, you get back up 9, like, you know, like, or something like that. I think it's like, right, like some shit like that.
That sounds right.
Right, yeah. Get knocked down 7, get back up 8. Yeah, you know, like,
just one more.
Yeah, just one more. You know, so like you know, you always make it a point. Like, so when second win means to me is like you don't stop. Like, you know, like, yeah, you're getting beat. Yeah, you know, your body aches. You're tired. You look for any excuse in the book, but you keep going. Like, you know,
Reach further.
Yeah, you reach further. You just went like 5 rounds and you're like about to throw up and you don't feel too good, and you take like a 30-second rest, and then you want to go one more, and then you tell yourself like, fuck, I really can't, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go one more and I'm gonna just move. Like, that alone right there defines what second win is, because you're pushing yourself to achieve better goals, because at the end of the day, you're not on the fucking couch just like wishing that you did something. Like, you're up and moving. It doesn't matter if you're like, you know, a basic mom or dad, like, has a job, and like his, like, you're finding a way, you're putting the excuses away, and you're trying to be a better person than you were yesterday. And that's what second one means to me.
And just for the record, we are not paying him.
I wish they were paying me and trading gum.
With that being said, you know,
with layers.
Yeah, with layers.
Anybody wants to give out sponsorship, you know where to find us.
That's pretty much it, man.
And to wrap it up, fact check is the average human is about 50 to 65% water.
So I was off by 15 to 20%, but
in infants, it is much higher. It's 75 to 78%.
Oh, because they're smaller.
Fun facts.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
There you go. Getting fact checked.
And yeah, that's basically concludes episode 1. Stay tuned for episode 2. And in the meantime, we're running a zombie race. So
yes, on October 5th.
October 5th, yes. So by the time you hear this, you will already have survived. Jess said she's willing to sacrifice herself for me in order for me to win. So
yes, I'll save them from the zombies or zombies.
So please check that out. See the pictures on the IG and the Facebook.
Purchase our merch.
Yes. So make sure you buy a shirt.
A hoodie.
Hoodies are coming soon.
Stickers.
Stickers.
Like our Instagram.
Like Facebook.
Second Win Nation.
Second Win Nation.
Please look out for a future website.
Coming
where
soon.
we'll be selling merch and all that stuff.
Facebook page, Second Win.
And if you're interested in joining us, please give us a call at... I know our phone number.
We'll have one soon.
Alright. Contact me now.